Whatever horror happened here 300 years ago, it's not over. Satan has come back to make me pay for my greatest sin. The sin of living.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
You're listening to Scotty and Andrew, and this is Fun with Horror.
Hey, everybody. I'm Scotty.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to episode number 129 of Fun with Horror. It's the movie review podcast in which two long-distance best friends stay in touch by taking turns giving each other horror movies to watch and discuss.
It was my turn last time, and I chose the new movie MaXXXine with 3 X's. But of course, stay tuned to the end of this episode where we get to hear what Scotty picks for our next movie. But of course, without further ado, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, guess what?
What?
I've got a new microphone.
I know. I think probably everyone knows.
And I can't stop talking like a radio announcer.
Right? I need you to be like, next up, we have some smooth jazz or something, you know?
All right, give me a second. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Next up on Fun with Horror, we've got some smooth jazz coming at you at KFWH. That's right, yeah? FWH?
I think so.
Yeah,
FWH.
okay. Fun with Horror.
There we go.
I'm so bad at those.
I know, I'm with you. That was perfect.
That was less than smooth, but it was fun.
But with that mic, it was smooth.
You're smooth.
You're smooth.
You know who else is smooth?
Who's smooth?
Our patrons with horror.
What a segue. Yes, they are.
We've got 2 new patrons
Oh my
to thank.
gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome, dude. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
They're flooding in. Like it's like we've opened the gates and they're flooding in our patrons.
It's almost like the elevator scene in The Shining of patrons.
Yes, they're flooding into the lobby.
Right. There we go.
And upending all the chairs, moving the couch.
Yeah, all of it.
And then suddenly there's 2 twins saying, "Hello, Danny."
Come play with us.
Anyway,
Yeah.
first, we've got Fun Size Bun.
Aw. Thank you.
Thank
Fun
you.
Size Bun.
Thank you so much, Fun Size Bun, for being a patron. And you know what? We love you.
We love you. Thank you.
And number 2, Pearly.
Pearly, thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Pearly.
Thank you, Pearly.
And we here at Fun with Horror love you.
We love you.
Buddy, I got a little story.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
I don't know if you have any stories before we get into our movie, but I've got a story.
Okay.
So 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
I went to see M. Night Shyamalan's Trap.
I was going to talk to you about this as well in the opening. I did too.
We both saw a movie. Why aren't we covering that one? This is unheard of.
I know. Maybe at some point we will.
We never go see movies in a movie theater at the same time.
I know. Believe me.
But this story is not about the movie Trap. Although I'm glad you've seen it because you'll understand part of what I tell you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, you know where I live, right?
I do. Yeah. Yep. I've been there.
Los Angeles.
Yep.
And so I'm in the movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And it was, I would say it was about 20 minutes, 15 minutes before the end of the movie.
Okay.
So, you know, the climax of this movie is ramping up at this moment.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
And you've been in a movie theater where the air conditioner comes on, you hear like the ceiling and the walls kind of flex a little bit, and they go,
Yep.
shh. I can't do it with my mouth, but there's like this noise.
I know what you're talking about.
I heard this noise But this time, the noise happened a couple times in a row, and all of a sudden, my seat was moving left and right a little bit. The people around me start looking up, and they're like, is that an earthquake? And sure enough, we had an earthquake. Not super close. It was like up in Bakersfield, but still, it was close enough that we felt it down here.
Wow.
And I don't know how the theater's designed, but that theater just swayed like a little bit of an ocean for a second.
Ooh, that's sketchy.
Ruined the end of the movie for me, buddy.
Dang it.
Because, here's something else
Yeah.
that this brought up.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about what scares us.
Yes, we have.
And what scares us in movies, okay? That's usually what we talk about, what scares us in horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized, I think in real life, my biggest fear is earthquakes.
Okay. They're a lot. I remember a few of them.
You remember a few of them, but you weren't here in 94 for the Northridge earthquake. And that, I honestly have PTSD from it.
Do you really?
Yeah. Like every time I feel anything shake, my heart just starts jumping out of my chest and I just get really anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And so imagine, like, I'm trying to enjoy the rest of this movie, but in my head, I'm like, should I leave the theater? I don't leave movies. I've never left a movie in the middle of a movie at a movie theater.
Right.
I've come close 2 times. And I've told you one of those movies. The other one I can't ever remember the name of. The first movie was The Purge.
That's right.
And the other movie was, I forget, it's some possession movie or something with Gary Oldman.
Oh, man.
And I can't remember what movie it was, but I remember me and my buddy were just like, we were hating the movie, and Gary Oldman comes into it like about halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much saved the movie.
Gary Oldman, man.
Yeah, Gary Oldman.
Always saves movies.
But anyway,
yeah,
that's my story.
All right. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's I need to see Trap again now.
Yeah, you should.
So I know how it ends. I mean, I paid attention, but I was just like, the whole time, every time the theater flexed at all, like from the air conditioner.
Yeah.
I freaked out a little bit, and I'm just like ready to bolt.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer, dude. I'm sorry.
On the plus side, I leave the theater, and the moment I'm outside, I turn on my Ring cameras inside my apartment, and Bowie and Ziggy are just asleep. They're just chilling. So evidently it rolled harder in the theater than it did at my apartment.
Oh, man. Well, that's good, at least. At least the babies are okay.
The babies were okay.
The babies. Oh.
I can't think of a segue, but are you ready to talk about MaXXXine?
I can think of one segue, which is we have a new review.
Oh, we have a new review?
Yeah, we have a new review.
Let's talk about that instead.
Yeah, and then we can discuss MaXXXine.
Yeah, no, this is way more important.
So I'm not even gonna attempt this name at the top for this for our review, but I am gonna try it because why not? It's Diff it and.
Gift and.
But fortunately, there's another name.
Thank you, Dift and.
Dift and. Gift and. It says, I only watched one episode, the FNAF, or Five Nights at Freddy's, 1, and now I know all about it. Thank you. I'm a huge fan from Cherry, with a little cherry emoji.
Aw.
So thank you, Cherry.
Thank you, Cherry. Or
Thank you.
And.
And.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's really nice. Yeah, thank you. That's really sweet. Appreciate that.
And they said they watched it, so maybe this is a viewer from YouTube.
It might be, yeah. Yeah. Which is great. I love that we have different outlets for people to choose from. That's
wonderful. It still surprises me. I just upload to YouTube by habit and as a backup, and then I see that it's got some views and people do watch it.
Yeah. So that's really
everybody,
cool.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, thank you for listening, everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love that. That's great.
And if you want to leave us a review or rating on Apple, as we've said in the past, it helps.
Yes, for sure. And honestly, it's a nice little ego boost as well.
Yeah. It's really awesome to the max.
Nah.
Okay, relax. Leave it with me. You hear from that detective again? You tell him to call your agent. I'm in charge of this negotiation now. I've brokered a lot more than motion pictures in my time. Trust me, nobody is more passionate about your career than I am. I'll go to jail over it. That's how passionate I am. This guy thinks he's the big bad wolf? Wrong. I'm the big bad wolf, and nobody is going to get in the way of your big break. Now, all you got to worry about is being undeniable in that film. That's most important right now. Gabish?
MaXXXine is a 2024 movie directed by Ty West, and I'm going to name quite a few people in this movie, everybody.
Wait, who wrote it?
Oh, Ty West also wrote it. My apologies.
Okay.
He's director and writer. You're welcome. For the third MaXXXine, I don't know what's the word.
Trilogy.
World. Trilogy.
It's a trilogy.
Trilogy. Yeah. So of course it stars Mia Goth as Maxine Minx. We have Simon Prast as Ernest Miller. We have Elizabeth Debicki. Debicki? Is it Debicki? Debicki. Debicki, sorry. As Elizabeth Bender. We have Giancarlo Esposito as Teddy Knight, Esquire. We have Moses Sumney as Leon. Man, I'm going through them all. We have Halsey as Tabby Martin. We have the one and only Kevin Bacon as John Labatt. Sophie Thatcher as FX Artist. Who am I missing, Scotty? Am I missing anybody? I
think we also have Michelle Monaghan as Detective Williams.
Yes, thank you.
We have Bobby Cannavale as Detective Torres.
Thank you.
And I think finally Lily Collins as Molly Bennett.
Yes, I did forget Lily Collins as Molly Bennett. See, I need to go to page 2 of cast. There's a lot in this. There are a lot of great people in this movie, which is lovely.
Well, this is your movie, buddy. You picked this movie, so this is the moment of truth.
Mm-hmm.
As we've talked about the last couple episodes.
Yes.
We're now going to say what we thought of the movie before we spoil it. So, Andrew, this third installment of MaXXXine, of the MaXXXine trilogy, what did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed watching it. I'll just say it now. I would put it as my third favorite of the trilogy, though. So I thought it was good, which we'll discuss. But what did you think, buddy? What did you think of this movie?
Funny enough, that's exactly what I thought of the movie the first time I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I've now seen this movie 3 times.
My man.
And I know everybody out there is probably tired of like these grand opinions of mine, but this actually may be my favorite of the 3.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
I definitely thought that Mia Goth did her best acting job in Pearl.
Agreed. Yes, I agree.
And that was my favorite of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But watching this 3 times, I gotta say, the thing that crossed my mind is that for me, this one is the easiest movie for me to put on and rewatch out of all 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
We'll get into it, but there's something about the atmosphere of the movie and maybe even the pacing of it and the music, everything about it. I've just fallen in love with this movie.
Wow. All right.
But now it is time to warn everybody that we are about to spoil MaXXXine.
Ooh, the way that came across sounded like you were saying 666 in there.
Oh, damn. And this movie's about the Satanic Panic.
Dude.
Damn. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to spoil MaXXXine. So if you have not seen MaXXXine, this is your warning to not go further if you don't want to have it spoiled for you.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it, dude.
We are going to talk about this movie, and I am going to ramble for a second.
Well, I'll mention something.
Please do.
It's entirely possible, too, that we will discuss bits of X and Pearl. Possible. I don't know what's going to happen, but just heads up, if you haven't seen those, go listen to our episodes. They're great.
Yes. Yes, we are completing a trilogy of Fun with Horror episodes about a trilogy of movies.
Yes.
That this is the third of...
In a trilogy.
Yes. Yes. I love trilogies. All right. Well, as you know, I've got my virtual 20-sided die in my hand on my phone, and I'm going to hit roll and keep rolling it until Andrew tells me to stop. And if it lands on odd, Andrew is going to do the 3-minute recap. If it lands on even, I'm going to do the 3-minute recap. So I am rolling the die, Andrew. You tell me when to stop, buddy.
Stop.
Number is 6.
Yeah.
Again with the 6.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
this is
boy.
crazy.
This is wild.
I'm a little scared to do this 3-minute recap, buddy.
You actually have 666 minutes to do this recap. I'm giving you a little extra time.
What is 666
It's like 11
seconds?
hours or something like that. So,
But what is 666 seconds? You should have said that.
oh yeah, I probably should have said that. I don't know. Carries 7-10 minutes.
That's a lot of minutes.
It's like 10 minutes. What? I just want you to know, though, in case you were going to do the 3-minute recap, I did talk to kind of this, I guess I'd call him a preacher, but he's a little bit off, and just said, if he doesn't do it in 3 minutes, would you take care of this? And he said, absolutely, I will. And it was really weird how he said it, but just heads up, you might want to do it in less than 3 minutes. He seems like an odd bloke.
Is that how the preacher at your church talks?
Yeah, that's right. No.
I think they all do.
I don't know. Not the ones I've been
And he
to.
came down from the heavens.
I have seen some like that, but not always.
Oh, man. All right.
Oh, boy.
You just tell me when you're ready for me to go.
Let me get my timer. Boop, beep, boop. All right. Whenever you're ready, buddy.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Okay, MaXXXine takes place sometime after the end of the movie X. MaXXXine is now in Hollywood. She is a pretty famous XXX porn star, and she's trying to make it big into the movies. She auditions for a movie at the very beginning of the movie, of the movie MaXXXine. She's auditioning for a movie in the movie of this third movie of the trilogy of the MaXXXine movies. Guess what, guys? She gets the part. Also happening is the Night Stalker. This is a true story. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, is killing people in Los Angeles in the year, I believe it's 1985. If I'm wrong, please don't kill me, but I might be. But I think it's 1985. Anyway, so this is the backdrop of the movie. It's a sleazy Hollywood boulevard. The Night Stalker is killing people. But now people near MaXXXine start also dying. We don't know exactly how the Night Stalker kills people, but from the detectives, we learn that somebody seems to be copying the Night Stalker killings. But they're people around MaXXXine. First, I forget who dies. I don't even remember, as much as I love this movie. But I know this girl who is in a movie, a porn movie that's being shot at the strip club that MaXXXine works at. She turns up dead with Halsey, who plays a girl that strips at this other strip club that MaXXXine works at. MaXXXine's working at 2 strip clubs. They die. They end up floating in the lake at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and they got pentagrams burned into their skin. It's pretty gruesome. In the meantime, MaXXXine has this part in the second entry in this very big horror movie, which is now going to be a series because they're doing part 2. And Elizabeth Debicki plays the director. And then there's this New Orleans private detective that is stalking MaXXXine because he knows what she did in the movie X, or what she did at that farmhouse. All this stuff is happening. This is a hard movie to recap, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was happy you got it.
I'm reeling. As much as I love this movie, this is a hard movie to recap. So
I know. Yeah.
People are dying. MaXXXine is being distracted by all these murders. Her director in the movie is telling her that she needs to get rid of all distractions because this is her big chance, you know? Even the girl who played the main character in the first movie in the series that MaXXXine is starring in is killed by this person. They end up cornering Kevin Bacon, who keeps stalking MaXXXine. They kill him with the help of MaXXXine's agent, Teddy Knight Esquire.
Yeah.
And that's something we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And then it comes down to MaXXXine has to put a stop to this. She's heard that these girls are being invited to a house in the Hollywood Hills. She goes there, and guess what? It's her father, who is the preacher on the TV in the movie X.
Mm-hmm.
He is the guy that's killing these people close to MaXXXine to get at his daughter because he wants to perform a quote-unquote exorcism on TV for his show. Well, the cops show up, the two detectives that are helping or following and whatever, they show up. There's a big shootout, which ends up by the Hollywood sign. Both Bobby Cannavale, the one cop, is killed, and he has a nice death sequence. And then the other cop, detective, Michelle Monaghan, is stabbed in the eye with a crucifix, and then she tumbles down the Hollywood Hills. And then MaXXXine's got her father, and they both recite the famous line, "I will not accept a life I do not deserve." And she shoots him in the head, destroys his head. And then the final scene, MaXXXine is on the set of her new movie. They have a moment of silence for Molly Bennett, the first actress in the first movie of this series. And then, the movie's over, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
and there's a brilliant tracking camera shot of the camera coming out from the studio as the ending music is playing, and the camera is like it's panning around, and we see the Hollywood sign, except it says MaXXXine now.
Yeah.
And brilliant. And then it goes up into the clouds, and the credits roll, and it's just amazing.
Perfect. Man, that was just under 3 minutes. That was perfect.
That was, I'm glad, because that was difficult, man.
I know. I even thought about this one a little. I didn't practice, but I was like, I have a feeling I'm just gonna do a quick one because we're gonna discuss it. And I'm like, this one's hard. It's hard.
It is.
It's a whodunit, and then we find out. I'm like, it's too hard.
That's one thing I realized the second time watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I realized it the first time, but Ty West made a Giallo movie with MaXXXine. This is the exact format of a Giallo movie, and it's got all the trappings, except it doesn't. Well, I mean, the guy does kill the women, but
right.
You know, Giallo movies are kind of known for putting women in very big distress, and
right.
And of course, we're in a different time now, so
right.
we don't need all that. But like, there was even a moment when Kevin Bacon, John Labatt, is chasing MaXXXine up to the Psycho house,
yes.
and the music, the musical score at that moment sounds just like the music in a Giallo movie, and I was like, wow, that is brilliant.
Oh, nice, dude. Totally. That's awesome.
It was scored once again by Tyler Bates, who scored the first two movies.
Awesome.
And yeah, I thought I was brilliant.
Smart, dude. That's awesome. I did not even catch that. That's great. That's really cool.
I love it because from what you said earlier, yeah, you had the exact same reaction that I had the first time I saw the movie.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Although one thing I'm going to say is that, something I hate to say that people didn't get this movie,
mm-hmm.
but I do think that there is one facet of the movie that some people did not get.
Okay.
People complained about the cheesiness of the shootout at the end at the house.
Oh, I like
the detectives. Yeah, I mean, this movie was supposed to represent a Giallo movie, a seedy 80s crime mystery movie.
Right.
And that was, the thing is, I had just watched Beverly Hills Cop not too long before I watched this movie.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it's not quite as 80s as Beverly Hills Cop, but it still resembled the shootout near the end of Beverly Hills Cop. And I was like, wow, Ty West is a freaking genius.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I like the shootout. I got it. Like, I wasn't like, I didn't think it was, there was some over the top, but it was meant to be. I was like, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like this. This is great. So I actually really like that sequence.
Do you have any specific quibbles that you wanted to talk about?
Let me double check. I want to say no. Yeah, I really don't. And I don't know why I like it was good, and I was trying to figure out why it wasn't, because I don't really have anything where I was like, oh, they shouldn't have done this, or I hated this part, blah 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 blah. I don't really have that. I don't know what I wasn't really expecting anything, because you had said, keep your kind of, I forget what you said,
I said keep an open mind.
Yeah, keep an open mind, which I'd kind of read before, so I was like, but maybe it's just kind of that genre of movie I'm not, because I'm not a huge, like, I don't know.
Crime.
80s crime.
80s crime.
They're fine. They're all fine to me, I mean, some are great, some are whatever, but they're fine. Like, they're good. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's just not my, like, genre of, like, wow, I really can't wait to see that 80s crime-esque. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of my only thing with it. Again, no fault with the movie. I think it's just me and my preference, I guess.
Yeah. So what is your favorite of the trilogy right now?
Even though Pearl is great, I think X just kind of, it was the first one, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like, this is a cool movie. And Ty West, I was like, I really like Ty West. So I think that one, just because it's, I don't know, nostalgia or something, even though it's pretty recent, but it was like the first in the trilogy. So it's hard for me a lot of times to not enjoy the first one the best.
Yeah.
But yours is Pearl. Or no, well, this one, I guess.
I think I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
The thing is, I have to watch all three of them again at some point to really, truly decide.
Yeah.
I just realized, like, we've talked about this. I always watch our movies twice.
Right.
Once for enjoyment, the second time to take notes.
Mm-hmm.
And as I sat down to take notes, this would be my third viewing of MaXXXine. And I just realized I was looking forward to watching this again. And I had just watched it the previous week. And then after that was over, like maybe just yesterday, I was thinking I could sit down and watch this movie again right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
And honestly, as much as I love Pearl and X, I think Pearl is the most well-made of the movies.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
MaXXXine is just so easy for me to sit down and watch. Maybe because I am an 80s kid.
Sure, I get that. Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's funny. I saw this with our friend JD.
Oh, did you? Right on.
And JD said something. He said, I think that movie portrays the 80s in a way that's more authentic than any other movie feels. And I was thinking about that. And of course, I don't think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood takes place in the 80s. 1 second. Let me look that up.
I want to say 70s, because it was Charles Manson.
Right.
So I think it was 70s.
Actually, it's even earlier. It's 1969.
Oh, okay.
Was the night of the Manson murders.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, talking about authenticity, I wasn't in LA back then.
Right.
In the 1969, 1970.
Mm-hmm.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood feels authentic to me.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like it puts you back. You feel like you're in old time Hollywood.
Right.
This one feels like that to me too.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Like it feels like 1980s Hollywood, 1980s Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some inconsistencies. They haven't lit up the Hollywood sign in many, many years. I think since the 30s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, the sign would not have been lit up, but that's fine.
Whatever.
I'm going to jump to the end of the movie.
Let's do it, man.
Because I do have one small quibble.
Yes, please. Okay.
It's just an aspect of the ending that I haven't completely reconciled.
Interesting.
At the end of the movie, she's got her dad cornered on the hill behind the Hollywood sign, and the helicopter is above her.
Right.
And the helicopter saying, put the shotgun down, MaXXXine, it's over, just put it down.
Right.
And then MaXXXine has the shotgun on her dad, and then we suddenly go into the future.
Right.
We realize that this is a dream sequence. This is going through MaXXXine's head as she's looking down at her dad, and we see her filming her movie. We see her walking down the red carpet at the premiere of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called The Puritan, right?
Yeah.
Puritan 2.
Yep. She's interviewed.
Yeah, she's being interviewed. That's it.
Yeah, about killing her dad and being a hero or something like that. You know, how does it feel?
Right.
You know. Yeah. Yeah.
So then that ends. The music, by the way, is like maybe my favorite moment in the movie.
Nice. Yeah.
I love the music during that whole flash forward.
Totally.
But we come back and she says the famous line with her dad. She says, "Say it with me. I will not accept a life I do not deserve." And then she shoots her dad in the head. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, MaXXXine's going to die at the end of this movie. Like, she's going to shoot her dad, and the helicopter guys are going to shoot her.
Yep.
And that's how it's going to end. But no, that's not how it ends.
Mm-mm.
Everything's just okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, because he clearly was not a threat at that point on the ground without a weapon. So
Which is fine. That doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that the helicopter's telling her to put the shotgun down.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that happens right before something like that happens. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, there's no threat.
Right. At that point, yeah.
They're watching her.
Mm-hmm.
And she destroys his head with a shotgun blast. Yeah. Point blank.
Yeah. There would have been a big trial about that, I would think.
I kind of wish there was just a tiny bit of little something in between that and her being on the set of her movie, because there's just really no explanation why she just suddenly, everything was okay and she got away with it and she's allowed to still shoot her movie.
Right. No, that's a good point. Because, I mean, yeah, if there's no threat involved and she essentially just shoots him when he's laying on the ground, and the police obviously saw it, yeah, there would have been a trial. And yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, I accept it.
Right. Yeah.
Just like I don't accept a life I do not deserve.
Look at you. Bringing it back, man. I love it.
Always bringing it back.
Oh
man.
It. I have to ask you, since obviously we've talked about who the killer was.
Yeah.
Did you know early on, or when did you realize it was her dad?
I didn't really realize it was him until they showed who it was.
Nice. All right.
I didn't try and guess, though. I don't remember sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder who it is.
Right.
Although maybe I did to an extent. I don't know. You know me. When I watch a movie, I don't try real hard to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's great.
I go with the movie so it'll surprise me. And yeah, I mean, when he showed up, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was like, oh,
right,
my God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, it's him. Yeah, of course it is.
Right. Yeah. I like that.
What about you?
I knew it pretty right away.
Oh, okay.
But again, I'm not my brain. It's I guess a blessing and a curse, because I'm not thinking about who is it. It just pops in my head as, oh, the killer's this, and I go, yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
But the reason I knew, or I figured it out, is because I may not have if they hadn't showed that intro in the black and white of the dad saying it to the kid MaXXXine, because that was what I was like. Oh yeah, her dad was like a part of her life, obviously, that we talked about, an ex that we saw. And then once we see the killing, I was like, oh, it's her dad. Like, they wouldn't have showed that unless it was like remember this guy? And I was like, oh, I remember him. He's the killer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but so I don't know. I almost wish they hadn't showed that and just been like, but I liked it too. It kind of set up the movie. I don't know. It's not a quibble. It's just a thought.
You know, to me, I have seen some discourse online about the reveal and it not being a huge surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I don't see this movie as like, oh, we're going to try and hide this from you so hard and you're going to be super surprised at the end.
Fair.
I see it as we're going to drop you some hints. If you figure it out, great. Just enjoy the ride. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And that's what I do every time I watch this movie now.
I love that.
I freaking love this movie, dude. And now I want to babble on about something else too.
Yeah, please.
And this is something that's not really about this movie.
Okay.
But it's something that I just really had this epiphany when I sat down to watch this at home the first time.
Uh-huh.
Remember the first time I saw it in the theater.
Right.
So when I say the first time, I mean the second time. Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean, man.
Yeah. I'm just confusing everybody.
That's all right. Hey, welcome to Fun and Horror, everyone.
So, you've been going to movies your whole life.
Yeah.
Would you say going to a movie theater is like kind of a magical experience for you?
It used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be.
It still is to me.
Yeah.
I was raised, my dad, my uncles, going to movies and it being just the most magical experience.
Nice, yeah.
To me, I still kind of feel that, even with people texting once in a while, even though I actually do a pretty good job of going to movie theaters where people don't really text a lot.
Nice, that's good. That's awesome.
I mean, this is Los Angeles, so
Right.
there are some movie theaters where people are kind of respectful.
Nice, that's awesome.
I've also gotten kind of good at kind of blocking out some stuff and realizing that you are in a communal experience with people, and so you can't be too like strict on how people act during a movie as long as they aren't completely disrespectful.
Right.
And I know there's lots of disrespectful people. Anyway.
Right.
So, do you remember VHS tapes?
Oh, yeah, dude. I love VHS tapes. They were the best.
So, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
the other magical experience for me was it was a big deal when movies released on VHS.
Totally.
I remember when E.T. finally came out on VHS. I remember when Aliens came out on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And it always felt like this, like you're cheating somehow. Like this is such a privilege. Like, oh my God, this movie that I could only watch in a movie theater, I'm getting to watch at home now.
Oh, that's a really good way to say that. Yeah, that's great.
Do you remember that feeling?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, my gosh. It was, yeah, because it wasn't, and for us, we didn't get movie night every night. It was like a weekend thing. So it was even like more special,
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow, we
Exactly.
get to go. Yeah, oh, yeah, great memories, dude.
Yeah. So, we've been through the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the movies that you and I have even done,
Mm-hmm.
especially horror movies,
Right.
we've seen for the first time on home video.
Right, yeah, yep.
But lately, for the past 2 or 3 months, I've got my Regal Unlimited pass,
Nice.
which I never thought I would get one of these, but I got one, and I've been going to more movies.
Nice.
And I kind of realized when I sat down to watch MaXXXine here at home,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? This is really nice. I kind of still have that feeling. If I've seen a movie in a theater
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes out at home, and granted, now movies are coming out at home like 2 or 3 weeks after they've premiered in a theater.
Yeah.
But if I did get to see that movie in the theater, I still have that nice feeling when I sit down to watch it at home.
Oh, I love that though. That's really sweet, and it really is like I get it. I totally get it. Anyone that has got to live in that world where you did rent, I feel like can understand this. And it kind of makes me not sad, but kids, younger generation that never got to experience that will never know that. And it was like it was just such a cool thing. And yeah, I got to remember that too, because I do take it for granted. And I got to remember I should appreciate that more, because I should.
Well, you saw Trap in the theater.
I did.
So when it comes out on home digital, home video, and we watch it at home,
Right.
let me know if that feeling comes back to you at all.
I will. Yeah, I will.
I think I always have this feeling if I've seen a movie in the theater and then I get to watch it at home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said it perfectly. It's something we take for granted when it used to be something that was so difficult to have happen.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Aliens came out on VHS, I think I watched that movie every day, once a day for like the next 4 or 5 days, just because I was like, I get to watch it at home. This is so exciting.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's awesome.
And going back to what you said about kids these days, kids
I know,
these
right?
days.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Back in my day, we had to walk barefoot to the video store.
Uphill.
They only had 29 flavors at Baskin Robbins. No, I'm kidding. They always had 31. The thing I think about when I think of that thing that you mentioned, that younger people these days don't know that experience.
Right.
They have their own experiences.
That's very true. You're right. Yep.
And we aren't going to understand their experiences because we grew up in a different way.
Totally.
I accept that, and I pay attention to what they say, and I don't claim to fully understand what their experiences are.
Right.
But when they get to be older,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be things from their childhood that they're like, oh, man, remember when, like, movies you had to, like, wait 2 weeks for them to come out on digital? And now you can just watch it on Instagram or whatever the new app is, you know?
Now it's just uploaded into your brain via chip.
Yeah, man. I miss the days when we actually had to wait 10 days. You know, I don't know, but they have their own experiences is all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it's totally true. You're right. But obviously I'll always be biased.
Yeah, just like our parents are probably biased about what they had to experience that we don't get to experience.
Right? Totally.
I mean, think about how they felt when movies came out on home video. And they're like, man, back in our day, you could only see movies in the theater, and they were gone.
Right?
They were gone forever. And now we can watch them at home. Be kind, rewind.
Oh, yes.
But back to MaXXXine, man.
Yeah.
Here's a question. This is not necessarily a quibble.
Okay.
So I get it. I get the whole connection.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Pearl,
Right.
played by Mia Goth.
Right.
Old Pearl, also played by Mia Goth.
Right.
Meeting MaXXXine.
Right.
Now, the thing is, Pearl and MaXXXine, I don't think that they're really that connected, right? Like, they just meet
Right.
in X.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know that I dislike this.
Okay.
The very beginning of MaXXXine, we see a young MaXXXine.
Right.
She's dancing for her father.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing the exact same dance that Pearl did when she was young.
Oh.
So what is that trying to say? Like, is that am I thinking too hard about it? Is it just like, oh, we're just going to connect these two characters in this weird cosmic way?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. I have no idea if there's some, or if they are, I don't know. I never looked at it like that. I guess I just always looked at it like you said, I mean, they meet in X.
Yeah.
And that was it. There's just two characters that meet, but,
The whole line, I will not accept a life I do not deserve.
Right.
That was a Pearl line too, right?
Yeah.
Didn't she say that in Pearl?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole thing, and it's a whole thing.
Right.
I mean, there's nice little, like, connections in these movies, but
Right.
that's the one that sticks to me because they're so, like, the same person,
Right.
but they're not the same person. And I just wonder what Ty West was trying to convey, if anything, or if he was just like, this is going to be a fun connection because it's all Mia Goth.
It's a good question, man. I have no clue. I didn't even put any of that together, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Write him. See if he writes you back.
I'm just going to say, listen to this podcast, Ty West.
Yeah. Please.
And then do a guest spot and answer all our questions.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine because we are awesome.
Yeah, you're right.
Everything is awesome. I hope we get a Lego MaXXXine trilogy.
If we don't, what's even the point of watching these?
What's podcast over?
Yeah, done. Lego, you better be listening to.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine some of these scenes in Lego?
Oh my gosh, no, but that sounds
Man.
amazing. Oh, that would be awesome.
Second connection to the two movies,
Mm-hmm.
or the three movies. After MaXXXine gets out of her audition, there's a sign outside the theater. It says, "Open casting today. Show us your X Factor."
Oh, I like it. I didn't even catch that. I didn't see that sign. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that the title card of the
Mhm.
movie is her license plate.
Yes, I liked that. I got that. That was cool.
So good.
Yep. Perfect.
And another, see, I'm just kind of going, I don't want to go through the entire movie, but there's
Right.
just all these little points. This movie is so authentic that I had to look up if the landing strip was an actual strip club near the airport.
Is it? Or was it? Or
It's not.
oh, okay. Okay.
Because I remember I'd fly through LAX when I lived in Florida,
Right.
and I'd fly out here back and forth every year. And then even when I moved here and I would go visit the
Right.
family in Florida, obviously driving down Century Boulevard to the LAX all the time,
Yeah, man.
there was a strip club
Oh,
right
funny.
there.
Okay.
on the way. And I think it was called the Jet Strip.
Oh, funny. Okay. Okay. So nice.
I could be wrong.
If it is though, that's a nice little homage for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And when she went into the landing strip, which I think is a much funnier name for a strip club.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about that strip club. I've never been there. Let's just say that right out loud.
Right on.
I've never been there. No judgment.
Nah, no.
If you have.
I have not. No, I have not been there.
Okay.
No.
Nice pause there.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't know.
No, I've been to like 20, but not that one.
Not that one.
So, you and I, we both love single shots.
Oh, man,
single shots.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And the single shot of her walking through the strip club and then outside and then into the building behind the strip club, which is a porn set. Brilliant.
It was great. I know. I was like, okay, right on. Perfect.
And then Maxine sits down at her mirror and she's talking to the other girl who is going to go up to the Hollywood Hills. This is when we first hear of the Hollywood Hills. But the thing I want to bring up, first of all, made me crack up that Maxine now has just a full jar of cocaine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I will admit, I did not catch this the first time, but the third time I watched the movie, I was like, oh, the cocaine jar is in the shape of a swan.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And Pearl kills the swan at the beginning of Pearl.
Yep. Awesome, dude. Amazing. Yeah, that cracked me up. I was like, that's Scarface level cocaine right there in this in this little room. Made me laugh.
And just the sheer amount of cocaine in that jar was hilarious.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, how does that even exist? Wow.
How did she even get that? Oh, brilliant.
And I do I really liked the idea that she wasn't a changed person really at the end of the movie. She was still her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because she's snorting a line of cocaine before going onto the stage.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah. Definitely. Like you said, I mean, she really hasn't changed. If anything, maybe she grew a little confidence. That's about it. She's still her.
I don't even know if she gained confidence. She definitely has a monkey off her back.
Right.
The one thing that I had to keep in mind is that even though there are all these connections between Maxine and Pearl, they are not the same.
Right.
Pearl was a homicidal killer.
Right. Yes.
Maxine is a strong woman who defends herself and is very capable of defending herself, but she doesn't go out of her way to kill people.
True. That's very true.
If you cross her path, she messes you up big time. But
oh, yeah, she does.
So how about that guy in the alley?
That was what I have that note. Oh, that hurt. I was not expecting that. That hurt.
Tell me about it. Tell me about that part.
Well, so this guy, she's walking through an alley, and of course, by this point, this is kind of towards the beginning, we see that the Night Stalker is stalking people, blah, blah, blah. So 80s LA is on edge. And she's walking by herself at night in LA and goes down an alleyway, which has a fence, and behind her, a guy is following her. And obviously he pulls out a knife, and he's shady, obviously, and he's, of course, going to try and do whatever he wants to do. But Maxine pulls a gun out of her purse and aims it at him and is like, take off all your clothes. And he's like, he doesn't.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, help me. Yeah.
One of the best parts, though, is she says, drop it, Buster. And the guy is dressed as Buster Keaton.
That's true. Yes. Yep. You're right. Very good point. Yes. So he drops it, and then she makes him take his clothes off, and he's naked. And then she puts the gun in his mouth. I forgot about that. In a way you can probably guess. And then she has him lay down, and when he's laying down on his front, when he's laying down on his front, it kind of pans to his butt, and you see his testicles there. Oh, it hurts. And she stomps on them with her shoe, and they go, and he screams, obviously, but man, I was not expecting that. When we see it, and then her foot go down, I audibly went, oh,
the entire theater did that.
Amazing.
You had an entire theater of people going like, oh,
it was so bad. But I have that note. I was like, we got to bring up the testicles.
So let's talk about all these actors. First of all, Mia Goth.
Right. Come on. She's great. She's great in everything she does, but man, I really like her as an actress. She really gets it, man. She just gets it.
What's really amazing is listening to Mia Goth in interviews.
Yeah.
And then watching this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her voice is so much like softer in interviews, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Her voice isn't weird, but it's just weird, the difference in her tone.
Agreed. I absolutely agree.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she knows what she's doing, man. She's so good.
Some people complain that we didn't get to see her really show off her acting chops like we did in Pearl, except for the very first audition scene.
Oh,
it's like the people, as far as Mia Goth's acting goes, some people,
right,
mentioned that the movie kind of blew its load early, and because you have that amazing audition scene, and then she doesn't have any like real huge like Pearl like acting scenes,
right,
which is fine with me. I thought she was just great throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I agree. I thought she was really great through the whole movie, so that doesn't bother me at all. Yeah.
But that audition scene is incredible. Like,
awesome.
It's still impressive to me. Anybody that can just turn on tears like that and then just stop.
Yeah. And she does. I mean, immediately. Just done. And I love how that scene ends. It's brilliant because it's like she does this great performance. It's amazing. It's beautiful. The casting directors are in awe, and then they just go, "Okay, now show us your boobs."
She's like, "Okay."
Yep, she goes, "Okay." Like, it's like, it just cracked me up. I was like, "Wow, good old Hollywood."
I also love when she goes outside and all the girls are lined up for the audition, and she just goes, "You can all go home because I just nailed that shit."
Yep, it's perfect. I will.
The way she is towards them is just great.
Amazing. But it's a perfect though. It's her character. I have that note though. I was like, man, watching her audition and then leave and seeing all these other girls there for that same role. I was like, oh, that brings back memories. It's like, it really hit me a little bit. I was like, oh man, I remember that.
She really seems like the kind of person that could kick an extra in the face.
That was my, I hope not. I hope that's not. Yeah. I remember reading that and being like, oh, huh.
Yeah, let's just really quick sidebar.
Yeah. Yep.
We don't condone movie stars kicking extras in the face.
Agreed. Yeah, don't do that. Not cool.
So, but moving on.
Yes.
Elizabeth Debicki is Elizabeth Bender.
Mm-hmm. She's great.
What do you know her from? Anything?
I do, but I'm drawing a blank right now.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's right. That's exactly what I know her from. Yep.
Kevin Bacon. What'd you think of Kevin Bacon as John Labatt?
He was great. I loved him. I love Kevin Bacon, so I was excited to see him. One thing I have to say, though, is I think it was on Facebook or someone, and I hadn't seen the movie yet, but someone posted him walking at the red carpet, and there's people with signs that say, like, horror is evil or the devil or something. And I remember people commenting, like, oh, these people are crazy. That's ridiculous. But I didn't realize they were promoting the movie.
Yeah,
it was the same signs from the movie. And I was like, oh, that's fun. That's cute. I was like, I don't really see a lot of people go to horror movies and be like, hey. So I was like, oh, after watching this movie, I went, okay, well, that's kind of adorable. I love that.
And don't let me forget, I do want to talk about the protesters in a moment.
Oh, okay.
Because there is something I want to bring up.
Okay.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, dude.
What'd you think of his wig?
Oh, it cracked me up. I loved it. I was like, this is so 80s cheese ridiculous, and I am all about it. I thought it was hilarious. And I loved his character. I actually really liked his character a lot. I loved that because he has that manager feel. He does. And he's a great actor, so obviously he does well. But I loved when she finally goes to him and says what's going on, and he's like, I'll take care of this. Like, I just was like, oh, geez. And then they do, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's like, he's got some power, man. Like, woo. So I enjoyed his character a lot.
Yeah, me too. We have the detectives, Michelle Monaghan and Bobby Cannavale.
Great. I love both of them.
Love both of them.
Yep.
Bobby's character, Detective Torres, was frustrating.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Because there was a couple times where Detective Williams was okay talking to MaXXXine, and then he comes in acting like a big 80s cop.
Yep, totally.
And ruins everything.
But it was perfect. Like, it worked so well. I was like, yes, that's exactly right. Give me more.
Michelle Monaghan has one of my favorite moments in the movie.
The end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like, what? It's just one of those moments you're like, what? Because the detectives run ahead of MaXXXine, and her dad evidently takes care of them. But then all of a sudden, Michelle Monaghan comes out saying, I got him, didn't I? And then she's got a crucifix or a cross stuck in her eye. And then she just suddenly tumbles down the hill and disappears into the bushes. And that's the last we see of her.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what is this? But it was
brilliant.
Perfect. Yeah, it was so funny. It was, I loved it. Again, kind of some of that over the top, but meant to be. Like, it was perfect. I was like, I'm all about this. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
We have Halsey.
Yeah, man.
As in a short part. Do you know Halsey at all before this movie?
I know her.
Okay.
I know her music pretty well. So, yeah.
I will say right now, Halsey, in my eyes, is one of the most beautiful women.
She's great, man. Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah. But one thing I want to say is, like, because I knew that she was in it, and they kind of promoted it as her. You know, they had like a poster of each character and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, cool!
Yeah.
That's really exciting." Yeah. But then she died, and I was like, "Are we getting flashbacks or anything?" Because she's in like 1 or 2 scenes, and then she's dead. So that shocked me. I was like, "Whoa!" I'm surprised they killed her so quick. But
you know what? That didn't really surprise me that much.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when she first came onto the screen, I kind of had a feeling. I was like, okay, she's got a nice little part here, but I have a feeling she's not going to be in this movie for long.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that. I just figured she'll be in it a little more. But yeah, that surprised me and at first I was like, when they showed her body, I was like, wait, what? Like, really? That was quick.
I mean, as soon as she said she was invited to a party in the hills,
right,
I was like,
right.
Oh, she's going to die.
Yeah.
I hadn't figured out the whole movie or anything, but I knew she was about to die.
Yep.
A musical artist that you probably don't know of is Moses Sumney.
I don't know him. He was great in this movie, though. I actually really liked him and his character a lot. But
did?
I did, yeah. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right person.
No, we are.
Okay.
He played Leon, her friend.
Yeah, at the video store.
I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit this, buddy,
Mm-hmm.
but I did think it was interesting and fun because he works in a adult movie store,
right?
Video store.
Yep.
The movie that is playing on the TV is the very first porn movie I ever saw in my life.
No way.
And it's actually the very first sex scene in a porn movie that I ever saw in my life.
Oh, wild, man.
One night, I'm over at my grandparents' house, and my uncle who lived there says, Scotty, you want to see an X-rated movie?
Oh,
and I was like, yeah. And I'm like 11 maybe.
Oh my gosh.
And he shows me this pool table scene with Marilyn Chambers.
Right on.
Who went on to star in David Cronenberg's Rabid, by the way.
Oh, right on. Okay.
But that scene in MaXXXine that was showing on the TV was that pool table scene from Insatiable. And the cooler thing is that right after that, Leon mentions Marilyn Chambers when he's talking to MaXXXine.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Good job, guys.
Right on. That's funny, man.
Yeah, there's my little porn connection.
That's hilarious, dude. That cracks me up. I love you, man.
I also love that later when we see him in the video store right before his death, actually.
Right.
He's watching an alligator attack movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes you think of the alligator in Pearl and X.
Totally. Yep.
Moving on with the actors, Lily Collins played Molly Bennett.
Yeah.
Who was in the Puritan 1 and has a scene in the Puritan 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know her from anything?
Yeah, I've seen her in lots of things, actually. She's been in a lot of things. I can't think of anything that I would have known her from right when I was watching it, but I know that actress. I know Lily Collins, so.
The only thing, she looked familiar to me, but when I looked her up, I was like, I haven't really seen any of these, except that at a certain point in the last couple years ago, Emily in Paris
yes,
was being shown on my TV.
Oh, really?
not being watched by me, but by somebody else here.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, she plays Emily.
Yeah. Yep. She's the main character.
Next to last, Sophie Thatcher.
Yeah, I really like her a lot. She's great.
Very small part.
Very small part, but she's making a little bit of a name for herself right now, which is great. I think she's a great actress, so I'm very happy that she's getting a lot of roles. I'm happy for her, and I hope that she continues.
If people don't know, she stars in Yellow Jackets, and she was also in The Boogeyman.
That's right. And Boba Fett.
Which I loved. Oh, yeah. Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Let's not think of that one.
Yeah, those characters. Anyway, yes, Boogeyman. You're right. Yes, she was.
Yeah. And finally, the guy, you have IMDb up, I think, right?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Maxine's dad.
Oh, Simon Prast.
Simon Prast, yeah. What did you think of him?
I liked him.
Did you have any notes or thoughts?
I liked him. I thought he was playing the part. I felt, kind of that evangelical, like, kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Just that over the top, like the world is coming to an end, kind of, preachy sing-song voice. I thought it was fun. I was like, it works for me.
Are you picturing him in your head right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Robin Williams. Did he at any point resemble Robin Williams to you?
I can't say that he did, but now I need to rewatch like some of his scenes.
I need you to go back and watch some of his scenes at the end.
Okay.
Because some of the way he talks, he does the same like jaw structure, or he has the same jaw structure as Robin Williams, and the way he delivers his lines, I'm like, is this guy deliberately doing a Robin Williams impression?
Wow, I didn't feel that at all. I need to watch it now with that in mind. Because I don't...
Maybe it's just me.
But maybe not. I need to see. That's funny, though. All right.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I need to figure it out.
So, a couple more connections to Pearl and X.
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of an obvious one, but Maxine puts her cigarette out on Theta Barra's star.
Right. Yes.
And Theta Barra, there was a movie poster for Cleopatra starring Theta Barra in Pearl. And of course, she named her alligator after Theta.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point.
Dude, how awesome was it that they were actually on the Universal lot?
I loved it because I'm like, I have stood right where they are standing. We have stood right where they are standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I even said because Cindy watched this. No, she didn't. That's not true. I think I mentioned it to her. I must have mentioned it to her. I was like, oh, they were right.
Okay.
I was right there. Yeah. I was like, she didn't watch this. Yeah, I did mention it to her because I was like, I was right where they were standing. It was so cool.
Yeah. That's just awesome.
It is awesome. I love that area too, dude. Walking on that it's just fun. That area is so much fun.
I love that she saw Pearl in the window.
Yes, I did too. I thought that was great. And such a homage to both Psycho and the previous movies. Like it was a nice little moment. I really liked it.
I love it. Okay, so going back to something I told you not to let me forget, and I haven't forgotten it.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up too.
Protesters.
Yeah, protesters.
So the protesters, there is one protester in particular who they focus on a lot, the guy with the cowboy hat
right. Yes.
and the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I couldn't find anything definitive online.
Okay.
But watching it a couple times, I started to think, is that Lorraine on his shirt? And that Lorraine is Jenna Ortega's character from X.
Oh.
Is that Lorraine's dad?
Oh, interesting.
And there were some theories that a lot of the people that follow... What's her dad's name?
The preacher?
Yeah.
It was Ernest Miller.
So a lot of the people... Wait, that's the character, right?
Yes,
Ernest Miller?
Yeah, Ernest Miller.
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of the people that follow him may be the parents of the people who died on the farm.
Oh, I like
that. Was a theory.
Yeah, okay.
But it does look like an airbrush picture of Jenna Ortega on his shirt a little bit.
Man.
But it's too far away, and I tried to pause it, and I'm like, I can't tell. Like, is it supposed to be or is it not? And I'd love to hear something definitive from Ty West about that.
That'd be cool. I like that. That's great. That would be really cool. Definitely add some more depth to that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it is. I like that theory. I like it.
I like that theory too.
Yeah.
One thing, this is a personal thing.
Okay.
There's one scene in particular. See, this is another reason why this movie is becoming my favorite, because there's a lot of little personal connections.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I didn't move to LA until 92, but just the weird authenticity of everything and things that I remember from my childhood. There's a part where she's driving onto the studio and she's listening to Casey Kasem's Top 40.
Yeah, dude.
This is Casey Kasem.
I remember.
You know, and little Scotty used to spend Sunday mornings just laying in his room or on the living room carpet listening to the entire Casey Kasem's Top 40. And that was hours of music.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
When I heard that, I was just like, oh, man, that's so awesome. I missed those days, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
I remember when Prince was number one. Casey Kasem, we've made it all the way down to our number one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Casey Kasem, dude.
Here's Prince with Purple Rain. You know, it was such a good time, man.
Yeah, dude, that's perfect.
Such an innocent little time when just little Scotty was just, and that's like probably where my strong love of music maybe started.
I can see that for sure. For sure. That's so sweet. Oh, little Scotty.
Little Scotty. I also, man, how about the scene where after Elizabeth Debicki or her character tells MaXXXine to squash it, whatever is distracting her from the movie.
Right.
Squash it, come back Monday strong. And we finally get to see MaXXXine put on that eye makeup.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And go to the club. And oh my God.
That was awesome.
There's some song choices in movies that are perfect. And there is no better song that fits a moment in a movie like that Frankie Goes to Hollywood song.
Dude. Yep.
And I think the song is Welcome to the Pleasure Dome from the same named album.
Yep. It was perfect. That scene was awesome. Everything about that was awesome. I loved it.
Right?
I loved it. That was actually, one of my favorite moments, if not favorite moment of the movie. Just that whole scene.
We're going to talk about that scene in a little more detail when we do 3 questions.
I think you're right.
There's 2 scenes that I'm not going to talk about right now.
Yep.
We're almost there, people, so just hold on.
Bear with us. But yes, that was the one I had to.
So I love the gondola up to the house.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, I did too. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
And going back to the cheesy 80s cop shootout scene. Dude, Michelle Monaghan's line, "Mass has ended, put your hands up." Yeah. And it's just like this throwaway line, but I was just laughing my ass off.
It's so perfect. That scene is fun. And it like you said, I mean, it is over the top, but it's meant to be. And I loved how kind of ridiculous some of like the falls were. It was just great. I was like, yes, this is what I want. I'm
like
all about it.
The guy falling off the balcony.
Yes.
So good.
It was perfect.
And now let's think about this scene for a second, because if our theory and some other people's theory is correct, and that is Lorraine's dad, MaXXXine stabs him up the nose with a knife underneath the water. He's the guy that tries to grab her underwater.
Oh, man, that makes it way worse. Oh, no.
Or better.
Or better. Oh, man. Now I'm like, how did Jenna just get shot?
What? No, she...
No, how did she
okay, we're going to spoil X here.
Yeah, help me out. I'm trying to remember what happens to her.
That's a good question. Yeah, right? That's a damn good question. She got her fingers, like, hammered.
Right. Oh, right. Yes. And the door... Yes.
Yeah, she accidentally shoots herself with the shotgun.
That's what it is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if there's something, like, similar, then we could totally connect them, like... I guess
no, it wasn't similar at all.
Okay.
Bleep, bloop, bleep. Scotty here with a small correction. Lorraine did not shoot herself with the shotgun. As she ran out the door, Howard shot her with the shotgun. Back to your podcast. Thank you. Bleep, bleep, bloop.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Poor Jenna Ortega. Okay.
I think it's beautiful. We see MaXXXine and Leon watching The Puritan in her apartment. And I love that The Puritan ends on a still shot of Lily Collins' character, Molly, screaming in the fire.
Yeah.
and the credits are rolling. And I love that the end of MaXXXine, the movie ends with her decapitated head on a bed. Now, not the real one.
Right.
But her fake
one for the
decapitated head in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting on the bed and the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
I was just like, come on, dude.
That's pretty great. That's great.
But I don't know why. This movie, the feelings that it gives me when it ends with Bette Davis eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And what I talked about earlier with the camera just panning up and going above the studios and like I love it, man. I've been up in the hills so many times and looking down at the valleys and it just fills me with so much nostalgia for just 5 months ago.
Right,
you know?
right.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's cute though. I mean, that's sweet. That's awesome. I love that connection you have with this. I think that's beautiful. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
What do you think about LA? Like when you think about LA, what warm fuzzies does it give you at all? Not and don't say our friendship or anything like that.
Right.
I'm saying the city itself.
Yeah, because definitely friendship would be my number one. You guys, you people I knew. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. A lot of my memories, besides friends, besides the people, was auditions, and it was a lot of rejection. So honestly, a lot of it is not positive. It's really not. Unless we're
Universal
talking
Studios.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That was pretty awesome. I did have fun there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess I looped that in with friendship because I went with you. So, yeah.
Right. I get that, but it's still if you went to Universal Studios by yourself, you would still...
I would have fun.
You'd have warm fuzzies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And by the way, I'm gonna rant for a second.
Oh, here we go. Let's hear it.
About freaking Universal Studios.
What'd they do?
People know that you're coming, right? People know that you're coming to visit me in October.
Yeah, they do.
You know, I decided I'd look up Halloween Horror Nights and to see. Mac, when you and I went,
man.
Back when you lived here and we went, it was $90 for a front of the line express pass.
I remember that. Oh yeah.
You wouldn't have to wait in any lines.
Mm-hmm.
You go through the front of the line, and we had a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those same passes. Front of the line one time each maze. After that, you have to wait in line.
Ooh.
Which is fine. I'll be honest, it's fine because you really don't really have that much time to do everything.
That's true. Yeah, works.
By the time you've done every maze once, you're happy.
Yeah, oh for sure.
But the weekend that you're here, $309 a piece.
Oh my gosh. That's insane.
That is insane. I thought that would have been such a cool thing for us to do.
That would have been awesome. 300? That's bonkers.
I still might do it.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm kidding.
I was oh, man, I don't know. That's insane.
Right? It's insane.
Wow. Yeah, unacceptable. Let people go and enjoy this. Jeez.
On that note, are you ready for 3 questions?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, boy.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
All right, so let's talk about the kills in this movie.
Yes.
Because question number 1, Andrew, what did you think was the best kill or death in this movie?
And we kind of briefly talked about it, but Kevin Bacon's was fun to watch. It was just, that whole scene was awesome.
The whole scene, let's talk about that, because he looks for her in the bathroom. She's not in there. But then she calls him out to the back.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's standing on the loading dock. Yeah. Holy crap, dude. How did they do that?
I know. Ouch.
The guy comes up behind him and just whacks him in the back of the head with a bat. And when the bat makes contact, the camera goes to a wide shot. And the way he just is knocked unconscious, falls off the loading dock, face first into the cement. Dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked bad. I mean, good, but it looked painful. They did a great job on that. A great job. I absolutely agree. Wild.
And he was still alive.
Yes. Yeah, for a little bit.
So what did they do after that, Andrew?
Then they handcuff him into his car. Or they tie him up. I think it's handcuffed. But yeah, he's in his car that has been following her. And it's in a junk, I don't know, what do you call that? Like a junk car.
Crusher,
yeah. It's going to crush the car. And it's MaXXXine, the guy that hit him on the head, which was kind of was he like the director of the porn movies, or I don't know, he was something. Because when she first goes
he was the director of the
and then her manager. So it's the three of them, and they ask him questions about who are you hired by, blah 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 blah, and then they turn on the crusher and they let it go, and he gets crushed, and all the blood. We don't see him get crushed necessarily. We watch the car, and as it gets crunched, we watch just an insane amount of blood come out of the door.
Oh, so good.
It's so good. And I love to, after it happens, like, none of them have a reaction of like, oh my gosh. It's just like, we knew this was coming. And I love that her manager's like, you go home. We'll take care of the cleanup. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like that.
And then the director lets go of his dogs.
Oh, yes. And they go and lick it up.
Dude. So good.
So good. It's a great scene. It was a great scene.
That was, that's my favorite too.
Okay, yeah. And it was nice to see, because Kevin Bacon's kind of a jerk in this. So it was really nice.
Yeah, big time.
It was really nice to see him get it.
But I do want to shout out Leon's death.
Yeah.
In the video store was not only extremely well done, but it was the most Giallo death in the movie.
Very good.
Because, man, when the killer comes up behind him, who we know is her dad by the end of the movie.
Right.
But when the killer comes up, slashes him across the back of the neck with his knife, and it's just a close-up of the skin splitting open, and it's super red.
Right. Yes, very. Yep.
Which is another characteristic of Giallo movies, obviously. Then he turns around, because, man, that would be painful.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
The killer slashes him across the face, which goes down and slashes his eye.
Yeah. Ugh, dude.
Then he falls to the ground. The killer gets on top of him and just stabs him.
Yeah.
And man, dude, that was a brutal death.
Yeah, it was brutal. But as you're saying that, I'm remembering the scene, and I'm like, man, speaking of Giallo movies, like, any time that there are deaths, or not any time, but a lot of times from what I've seen, you do kind of get it from the killer's perspective. And they're always wearing like black, dark gloves in like a dark coat. So it's totally like, just watching that, I'm like, oh man, that is definitely an homage. Holy moly.
Absolutely.
Oh man, that's awesome. Huh. That's cool.
Question number 2.
Yeah.
Did you think this movie was scary?
I did not. I was not scared in this movie. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
As far as if it would scare other people, I think the movie itself, I don't see scaring too many people.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
But if some people have if they put themselves in that place of people in Los Angeles around that time.
With the Night Stalker.
With the scare of the Night Stalker and the whole Satanic Panic thing going on. Like, that might bring about a feeling of unease.
Yeah.
But I don't really see this movie, because honestly, the other thought I had after the first time I saw this movie was that it didn't feel like a straight horror movie.
Agreed. I would agree.
It did feel like an 80s cop mystery drama.
Totally. Yep. I agree.
Question number 3, my friend. Did you have fun with horror?
So even though it was the least favorite of the trilogy, I did have fun with horror. Yeah. This movie, I mean, there's some great moments. Again, it's great to see that cast. It's great to see Ty West doing what he does.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had fun.
I mean, it's 3 movies.
Right.
That are all good.
Right. Yeah.
In your opinion.
Agreed.
And this is just the least. We're not going to say it's the worst of them.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Because it's a good movie.
Yeah. Yep. And we already know yours, but go ahead. Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
I think you know. I did have fun with horror.
Oh, wow. I had no clue.
Now, Andrew.
Yeah.
Be very, very quiet, because after this break, I'm going to tell you my next movie.
Hi, Maxine. Whatever's going on in your life that's interfering with this picture, I don't care what it takes. Squash it.
I intend to.
All right, buddy. With that hint, I think I might know, and I think others may know, but let's hear it, man. What's our next movie? What are you picking for the next movie?
Buddy, so we're coming up to a time on this podcast that is just going to last for a few episodes where you and I kind of know what our next movies are going to be. Usually it's a big surprise.
Right.
Unless one of us picks something like Dr. Giggles out of nowhere.
Oh, my gosh.
But I am not picking Dr. Giggles.
Dang it.
I am picking A Quiet Place Day 1.
What?
Yeah, you kind of knew this one.
I kind of did.
Because last, full transparency, last episode when it was your turn to pick a movie, we both kind of knew that you were going to pick between MaXXXine and A Quiet Place Day 1.
Right.
And I told you, if you don't pick whatever movie you don't pick, I'm probably going to pick it next time.
Right. Yep.
So something crazy would have had to happen for me not to pick A Quiet Place Day 1.
Fair enough.
It's another movie that I've seen in theaters.
Yes.
I have yet to watch it at home.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see if I get that fuzzy feeling again.
Yeah, man.
And you haven't seen it yet.
Correct. That is correct.
So
I'm excited.
this will be your first time.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
And this is exciting for you. Let's mention this because you didn't get to go this time, but the first two Quiet Place movies, correct me if I'm wrong, did you not see them both on dates with your wife?
I did. That's correct. In a very, very quiet theater, which was extremely beautiful. So yes. Yep.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
When we get to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to start talking about it right now, but yeah, we gotta give people something to wait for.
That's right.
Speaking of waiting for, over on Patreon, everybody, I kind of forgot to say, join our Patreon, but I'm glad I saved it for the end.
Yeah, this works.
Over on our Patreon, we just posted a patron exclusive.
Yeah.
Just a fun little get to know you part 1.
Yeah.
Where Andrew and I come up with some questions to ask each other about ourselves, and we answer them, and that was a lot of fun.
It was super fun. Yeah, it was nice to be able to to do it too. So I loved it. I had a great time with you.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that again.
I know. Me too. That was fun.
Come up, yeah. It was just like casual and spur of the moment and fun.
Yeah.
But then this week, this is releasing on Tuesday. In 2 days, on Thursday, we are going to have our next patron exclusive where Andrew and I talk about the first episode of
The Haunting of Hill House.
Correct. And so if you're a patron, you have that to look forward to. It's going to be out in a couple days. If you're not a patron and you want to hear it, you know what to do. Just go to the Fun with Horror Podcast Patreon. Join up. It's only one tier, $5.
Yeah.
And you get exclusive episodes. You get a shout out here on the show. You get first reveal of what our next movie is before the episodes air. So I'm going to go on to Patreon right after we finish recording and tell everybody that our next movie is A Quiet Place Day 1.
Nice. Look at that.
So all of our patrons will know before everybody listening to the episode.
Love it.
It's not a big one. It's not a big deal, but I think it's fun.
I think it's fun with horror.
What?
Yeah, I know. I did it.
That's the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.